What's going on, everybody? Chase on Two Wheels here in a giant empty parking lot with a beautiful 2022 Yamaha XSR 900 in front of me. I have had the absolute pleasure of riding this motorcycle, and we've had it on loan from Yamaha for about 30 days now. So it's time for our 30-day review of this motorcycle. The goal of this video is to go beyond what we typically do in our first rides. A lot of you guys know we do a lot of first ride videos, but I've only got like 45 minutes to an hour on those motorcycles. When we get loaner bikes, I can do these longer 30-day reviews. I have been living with this thing. I've been riding to work and back. I've been going on little rides here and there. This has been, for all intents and purposes, my motorcycle for 30 days. So in today's video, I want to talk about some of the things that I've realized throughout the 30 days. How do I like living with the motorcycle and stuff like that? That is what we are going to tackle in this video. Let's get it freaking going. So guys, before we jump on the bike, I do want to remind you guys, I went to the press launch of this motorcycle. Now guys, press launches are super fun. Motorcycle companies pick these great destinations. They send us out, and we have a phenomenal time. So, of course, we're going to love the motorcycle. My real wonder was, is it going to be as good here at home, riding it on the daily? The TLDR of this video is, yeah, it absolutely is. So, a couple of the key things that I took away from the press launch was the extended swing arm really gives the bike a stable feel that I appreciate. That's compared to the MT-09. The XSR has been phenomenal. I do want to do a little crank up because, I mean, who doesn't like an exhaust? We'll do a little crank up for you guys so you can get a vibe. So if you guys notice, the exhaust is super underslung. It's all the way there at the bottom. I don't love the look of the different colored exhaust from the engine and everything, but aftermarket exhausts are a thing. But what I love is it's tucked in and everything's clean. And I also think that, I guess it's my age or something like that, but I'm getting away from always wanting my bikes to be incredibly loud. These days, I want them to have a good tone and sound decent, and I don't want them to destroy my ears. And I think the XSR does a phenomenal job of that. We can touch on styling really quick. This is a very personal thing, but I gotta say, I've been walking out to this motorcycle every single day to ride to work and whatnot, and the looks have not died down on me at all. I know this GoPro is not going to do it justice, but they have such a phenomenal blue on this bike. I love the gold forks with the blue. No, the rims don't match the gold on the forks, but I don't really find myself caring that much. I have loved the way this bike looks. I know a lot of you guys don't like the tail. It's some of you guys say the tail is really like big and squarey at the back. I feel like that tail shape kind of adds to the overall aesthetic that the bike has going for it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This tail light is absolutely legit. I love how simple it is. It's actually really bright for the people behind you that need to see you. Tail works great. I love how tucked away it is. And styling wise, it's the same. I still walk out to the garage to go to work in the morning, and I see this thing and I'm like, let's freaking go. I am inspired to want to go take photos all the freaking time on this motorcycle. I say we jump on this motorcycle and let's talk about what I've gathered through the last 30 days of enjoyment of spinning it on the XSR 900. Is it a good daily rider? We'll find out. So guys, you guys know we get a decent amount of loaner bikes in the shop. Feel really lucky and privileged about that. Every now and then you get a loaner bike that you get way more excited about, and at least for me, I think that happens when I get to have a loaner bike from a company that I could legitimately see myself buying. I joked around in the press launch video that this is going to replace my MT-10. Am I going to sell my MT-10? This bike has me thinking, if I can't maximize this motorcycle, how am I supposed to have an MT-10? I feel like the lightweightness, the flickability of this bike, I think it suits me more, and
personally, I like the way it looks more than my MT10.
That's one of the reasons I got so excited about it. I really love the looks, and you know, I really like the CP3 that's powering this thing. So everything made sense for me to be like, I mean, is this my next bike? Am I gonna get to have a loaner bike of the bike I'm literally considering to replace my current main bike with? And that got me really excited, which has kind of led me to ride this bike way more than I typically ride a loaner bike. So I've been super excited about this thing, and without further ado, I guess we should probably get into the actual ride of this thing. The XSR 900, let's start on power delivery. The CP3 inside of this thing has been phenomenal. I've kind of been mentioning it on first rides here and there, but I honestly feel like the 700 to 900 class of bike is really becoming my sweet spot, my favorite spot for the style of like city riding and stuff like that I do, and that you guys do. Like it's just such a good power area. I tend to go more towards the 900 because I've been riding for over a decade now, but I also think the 700s are phenomenal. The power delivery on this thing is very smooth and very fun, and once I figured out how to turn the traction control to a setting that feels good, I can power wheelie this bike now. The way the power is delivered though is a little strange. Not strange in a bad way, but like with my MT10, there's a grunty power that bike has. This bike doesn't really have that grunty power. It has that kind of like thin, sharp power. Those are the best words I really know how to describe the power on this motorcycle. It's very sharp, it's very agile, it's very quick. And that's how the power is delivered. It's in a smooth and controllable way, but I just find the power very quick, and you gotta be careful, because if you don't know what you're doing, the power will get away from you. And with a grunty powered motorcycle, you kind of feel the power coming on, whereas with the XSR 900, you just kind of fall into like a lot of power coming out, and you're like, whoa, I didn't realize I was there already. The power can hit you pretty hard. Now, when it comes to power modes and the traction control mode that I've ended up on, I've discovered that power mode 2, or drive mode 2 is shown on the screen, mode 2 and traction control in medium ends up being my favorite. One, because I can power wheelie that, and you know, who doesn't love doing that. Mode 2 tapers the power off a little bit, because I found in mode 1, which is the top power mode, it's a little twitchy. It's similar to my MT10. I don't ride my MT10 in mode 1 because these bikes are so powerful these days, man. They need to be toned down a little to be, I mean, honestly, usable. The power on this bike, I don't know if I could say enough of. I don't think I would ever need more power than I'm finding on the CP3 here. And like I said, the traction control modes really help that out, because otherwise this thing would be absolutely insane. So guys, next up, let's go into handling. This is one of those bikes, I do have a hard time riding this bike chill. It inspires me to have a good time, and who doesn't want that on a motorcycle? Going back to the handling, I'm going to try to stay on topic with this video. The handling is pinpoint perfect. I feel like the handling on the XSR 900 sparks a perfect balance of how much power am I getting, how much weight do I have to deal with. There is just a beautiful balance found on this motorcycle. As long as you keep it in that mode 2, you have that extended swing arm that gives you the stability and the comfort in a turn to lean the bike over. And that's something I don't think a lot of people are going to think about when they see this bike. They're going to see that, you know, it's got the retro stylings and stuff like that, and I don't think most people look at a retro style bike and think, man, that thing looks quick. Of all of the CP3 motorcycles, the MT-09, the MT-09 SP, the XSR 900, and the Tracer 9 GT, all of those bikes have the exact same motor powering them. And I gotta be honest, I've ridden the MT-09 SP. I feel like I can ride this bike faster than that. Now, I don't know why, and I'm going to do a wheelie over this hill. I just want to be up front with you guys. How do you not? How do you not do a wheelie over that hill? I don't know. But yeah, guys, the handling on this bike, I feel like is just in that super sweet spot of weight, power, handling, handlebar, control. There is a balance struck on this bike that I haven't found on a ton of motorcycles. And you're still upright. You're still in a comfortable position. But there is something about the body position in this motorcycle that allows me to just rail this thing and feel totally comfortable doing it. It's a magical thing, honestly. All right, guys. So next thing, I've been talking a lot of happy stuff. Let's bring it back to normal. Let's talk about the controls. Now, the controls are somewhere where, not the actual controls, but some of the controls. I stand behind what I said in my first ride. You guys have seen this little scroll wheel menu control dial. Yamaha's been using that for a lot of their motorcycles, a lot of their more recent motorcycles. Is it efficient? Absolutely. You get a lot of control in just a little wheel that you can press in. The thing I don't like is, especially when I have gloves on and I try to push something, I will push and roll. If you guys see what I'm doing there, that makes it very frustrating to do just what I want to do. I want to go in, you know, like say I'm riding and I want to change a setting or change a mode, it's there. What that ends up doing, because it frustrates me, I just never use it. If I have to, I'll use it, but it's typically when I'm off the motorcycle. I don't ever use this while I'm on the bike. I will say one of the good things about Yamaha, what they did to save me from that scroll wheel, is that the mode, as you guys can see, we have traction control TCS and we have D drive mode. We can swap between those with this little trigger here, and we can go up and modify those. I am thankful that they made the traction control and the drive modes an actual trigger and not the wheel. That would have pissed me off. But, I mean, the wheel is what it is. I think it's more of a efficiency play for Yamaha to have that. If they had it more resistant so it doesn't so easily scroll, I think that would honestly solve one of the problems. Like, that would solve the majority of the problem with that wheel. I just think it scrolls too easily right now. It leads me to not use it at all. But, you know, is what it is. Alright guys, so as you guys can kind of see around me, the weather is crap today. And it's going to start raining really nastily in about an hour. Which is why I'm trying to knock this video out before it rains. Because, very similar to my Sportster S, I do kind of look at the XSR 900 as a fair weather bike. This is not a motorcycle that I kind of look to ride when the weather's bad. There's not a lot of protection for the rider in front, as you can see. With this bike being a pretty motorcycle and not a lot of protection for the rider, when it's raining outside, this is not the bike I go to grab. I've ridden in the rain with this bike, don't get me wrong. You know, I've got my rain gear. It's been raining some mornings, and the electronics on this motorcycle do make it perform well in the rain. There's great traction control, both leaning, ABS, there's all the stuff you need. But for whatever reason, I don't grab this thing, or I don't want to grab this thing in the rain or in any kind of inclement weather. That is kind of a downfall if you're in the market for a motorcycle and you don't have the disposable income to have a lot of motorcycles. You know, if you just got one, this is a motorcycle that's going to be amazing anytime the sun's out, anytime it's good weather. But when it gets bad weather, it's not necessarily my favorite bike to grab. Alright, so guys, comfort, riding this bike for a while. How do I feel? Also, my God, I need wind protection today. So guys, in general, the XSR 900 is a very comfortable motorcycle. I think a lot of you guys, if you sat on this bike, you would kind of be surprised at how aggressive it is, because it's very comfortable but on the aggressive end. As a rider, I feel leaned over on this bike. The handlebars put me in a good controlled position. I can also like just hold the bike kind of casually and sit back and enjoy the ride. Some of the things I have noticed though that's kind of strange, the seat on the bike is a little hard, especially for a motorcycle. that is more of an upright body position because you're going to have more weight on that seat. There's been days where I go to jump on this bike to ride home. This area right here, it actually kind of cuts into my legs sometimes. I've maneuvered myself around the bike to find a good position, and on those days, I can't really find a good position to get in. I would say about 75% of the time it's fine. Like right now, the bike's totally fine, totally comfortable. I got no problems. But 25% of the time, I'm like, you know, I'm just squirming around the whole time and just cannot get comfortable. It's kind of strange, I know. I've never really had that on a motorcycle where every now and then it's just a really not comfortable bike. I would really like to get a more comfortable seat on this thing, but I don't know if aftermarket companies have seats for this yet, since it's kind of a unique seat that goes over the subframe and whatnot. So guys, overall, I've got to say I have absolutely loved every mile that I have got to put on this motorcycle since we've had it. I love it literally just as much, if not more, than I did and how I fell in love with it on the press launch, which I was honestly surprised. I like I told you guys in the beginning, I really feel like press launches, I love going to them, but they're not a great time to really review a motorcycle because they're in the perfect situation. The place to really review a bike is where you always ride it and where people are going to put time on it. So I was like, it's a fairy tale, it can't come true. And then I get this thing, I ride it around to work, I ride it to the places I like riding around the house. I literally like the bike more now than I did then, which I really think says a ton about this motorcycle. I know that this video wasn't an overly technical video, especially towards the riding stuff. If you guys want to see a more in-depth review of me riding the motorcycle and talking about the riding characteristics, go check out the first ride. I stand behind everything I said in that video. The only altercation or the only additions I have is what I've mentioned in this video. But overall, I am super happy with the XSR 900. The only real question for me is that, is it time to replace my MT10 with an XSR 900? It's a big question. I've had my MT10 for quite a while and I love that motorcycle, but I also really love this motorcycle. So you guys make sure to stay subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, if it helped you out. And let me know, are you in the market for an XSR 900? And if so, what is it that's drawing you to this motorcycle over all the other amazing motorcycles we have in the market right now? I'm Chaseontwowheels. You guys ride safe, and I'll see you where we decide, am I getting rid of my MT10 for the XSR 900? That'll be a fun one. You guys, I'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. You guys know I love you a little bit longer. Make sure to put OC in your comment down below. Hit that like button, and let me know in the comments, is this the best bike with a CP3 power plant? I think it might be. Might have to do a video on that. Alright guys, love you guys a little bit longer, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, this bike is too good. Should be illegal. It's not. I'm super happy about that.